So it seems like Gina Carano is actually winning the war against Lucasfilm, against Disney, and she's making big changes in Hollywood. She's making huge waves in Hollywood. And I think this entire Gina Carano situation, I think Gina Carano herself is going to end up single-handedly changing Hollywood. She's going to end up single-handedly saving Hollywood. Gina Carano is going to end up giving us back all the content that we all want, all the reason why I'm making these videos, why all these other people in this community are making their videos. We're not making these videos for the reason that they claim we are. We don't hate women. We're not white supremacists. We're not any of those istophobes. And that's exactly what these guys in the clip that I'm about to show you talk about. They're so quick to throw labels on people like me and like other people in the community as soon as they don't agree with something that I say. As soon as we start saying that we don't like the sequel trilogy all that much, that we think there's some agendas being pushed in the sequel trilogy, they immediately start calling us all the istophobes. We're immediately white supremacists just because we don't like a few movies. And in reality, if Disney and if Lucasfilm really cared about all these causes that they push in their movies and in their TV shows, in their books, all of that, then I really wouldn't have a problem with it. But when you put Finn front and center on the Force Awakens poster in America, and then you go to China and shrink him down to an ant, it just proves everything that I'm trying to say about the sequel trilogy, about the agenda that's being pushed in these movies. And then you have shows coming out like The Mandalorian, who are created by Jon Favreau, who don't have any kind of agenda pushed in those shows, and they're so loved by the Star Wars community. And that show isn't just loved by people on my side of the fandom. In fact, a lot of people on my side of the fandom don't even like The Mandalorian, which is shocking to me. But that show is loved by everyone. Sequel fans, sequel haters, people who don't even watch Star Wars love The Mandalorian. And that's exactly how all the Star Wars content could and should be if they're done right. If they were done how Jon Favreau did The Mandalorian. If the sequel trilogy was done like The Mandalorian and there was no agenda pushed in the sequels, and it would attract fans of all shapes and sizes. It would have broken all the box office records that you could possibly imagine. But instead they choose to push agendas that they don't even believe in. They try to push these strong women, put the men down in order to make the women look more powerful. They try to have all this diversity and advertise all this diversity in America, and then go to China and advertise the opposite. And the biggest proof of their hypocrisy, the biggest proof that Disney doesn't care about any of these causes, is the firing of Gina Carano. A true self-made, strong, powerful woman, and they just fire her as soon as she shows that she doesn't have the same opinion as them. And like these guys say in the clip that I'm about to show you, they're still trying to put her down even after she's fired. And I'm not only talking about the people on Twitter who are involved in cancel culture. I'm talking about Lucasfilm employees, Star Wars employees, people who have worked in Star Wars movies and on Star Wars TV shows. When she was fired up until now, are still trying to put Gina Carano down, make sure that Gina Carano is never successful again. And obviously it's not gonna work. Gina Carano without Disney will be way more successful than she would be with Disney. And that's just a fact. But now I'm gonna play the clip of these two guys talking about Gina Carano being canceled and fired from Disney. One of these guys is called Phil Lee, and he's a director in Hollywood, but the main guy that is talking, his name is Siaka Masakoi, I believe is how you pronounce it, and he's an actor in Hollywood. So both of these guys are heavily involved in Hollywood, and they want to do that as their professions, and they actually are currently doing that as their profession. So that proves that Gina Carano is making it okay for people to speak out, for people who are involved in Hollywood to realize that it's okay if you do get fired from Hollywood. There are alternative jobs that you can do. There are people out there who will support you if you're speaking out, if you're fighting the good fight, and you end up getting canceled because of it. We saw what happened with Gina Carano. The day she was fired, she signed with the Daily Wire to make her own movie. As soon as she was fired from being a side character in The Mandalorian, she got her own movie where she's writing, directing, and starring in the movie. It doesn't get much better than that. So Gina Carano is showing these people, she's showing these directors, she's showing these actors that you can speak your mind. Even if it's not acceptable in Hollywood, you'll be okay if you do end up getting canceled. Let's take a look at what these guys have to say about the Gina Carano firing and cancel culture as a whole. Shout out to Ryan Kendall for bringing this to my attention on his live stream yesterday.
And there's a lot more people thirsting for different content. Daily Wire and what they're doing is just the tip of the iceberg, I believe. What Gina Carano, like that Disney Gina Carano situation, again, it had to be this big. It had to. Because somebody getting fired off a commercial set or a short film or even a television show. But it had, it was a television show, but like a smaller show. But the fact that it's Disney connected so closely with China, all the messaging from Disney Star Wars saying, I mean, because I follow this stuff deeply. And so I'm like, I saw what they were saying about Star Wars fans for the last 4 or 5 years. For a terrible story, but they're calling all of them these terrible man babies, white supremacists, patriarchy, all this silliness. And then they actually fire a strong, independent woman. And so they put themselves on blast in a way that I really believe they weren't ready for, because, you know, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that arrogance is something that they are missing. So they kept doubling down on it, right? You kept seeing them doubling down. You still saw tweets even after she was fired of them talking crap, and you're like, just stop. Just, you don't have to say nothing, you know? And you see, like, that's where it's so removed from everyday life. But the average person, they're tuning out. The numbers have shown it. We were shut down basically all last year. And majority of these shows, these late night talk shows, these scripted shows with these certain actors on it, the numbers fell. Sports fell, and they try to say, oh well, because of Corona. Everyone was at home. And if everyone's not watching when they're at home, something's happening. They're seeing through it in a way they've never saw before.
This guy says something in this clip that's extremely important to note, and that's that this Gina Carano situation had to be this big in order to make change in Hollywood. In order for us to get true change, someone of Gina Carano's level had to be fired, and it sucks that it had to be Gina. I feel bad for Gina. I don't think that she wanted to be a martyr. I don't think that she wanted to lose her job over this situation. I'm sure Gina's ideal situation would have been for her to be able to speak her mind and also keep her job at the same time, but unfortunately, that's not how Hollywood works. And like that guy was saying, this situation had to be that big in order for Hollywood to have to make change, because I think that Disney wants Gina Carano back. I think Disney will end up begging to have Gina Carano come back because they're 100% losing money over this Gina Carano situation. Not only because people are big fans of Gina Carano, because people are big fans of the Cara Dune character from The Mandalorian, but also because people are just tired of these false agendas that Disney are pushing, these agendas that they don't care about at all. And I hate the fact that this has to be brought up, but it is notable that those two guys are not white people. After Gina was called racist, do you think those two guys would be defending Gina Carano if she was actually a racist? It's proof that they're just calling Gina Carano those names to make her firing more acceptable. It's proof that they're just calling people like me and like other people in the space those names, those istafos, because they're trying to hide the fact that the sequel trilogy had bad storytelling. They're trying to make the sequel trilogy look better by saying that everyone who doesn't like the sequel trilogy is just an istafo, which isn't true, and they know it's not true. We're just mad that you're sacrificing the storytelling to push your own agendas. And it's not just Lucasfilm, it's not just Disney. Gina Carano is going to end up saving all of Hollywood, and she's going to end up inadvertently bringing back all the content that we all miss. The content that didn't push an agenda, the content that only focused on storytelling, content like The Mandalorian. Gina Carano is going to make that content the norm once again. Let me know what you guys think about this Gina Carano situation. Do you agree with me that Gina Carano is winning the war? Do you agree that Gina Carano is making big changes in Hollywood? Do you agree that Gina Carano is going to save Hollywood and save the content that Hollywood is making? Or do you think Gina Carano being fired is just a waste? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to support the channel, check out all of the new merch that I just dropped. The link to that will be in the description. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.